Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. My name is BrendenPlayz. This is the show where we answer all of the questions that you guys send in every single week on the BrendenPlayz forums at brendenplayz.com/forums or in the YouTube comment section down below. You can also leave a voicemail by clicking the green button on the right hand side of the page on brendenplayz.com. It has been a great week. It's been pretty somber. It's been a little depressive on the podcast, and I actually apologize. I think the last few weeks of the podcast have really lacked, and I think, they're okay. I just felt as though I could do better, so I'm in a much better mood because, well, for one, I'm back online. I have my internet back. We finally got connected this week, and it's a relief. I think it was Friday night, they randomly just sent us a text message. I think it was maybe like 9 o'clock at night. They sent us a text message saying, hey, your internet's on. It's working now. And that was just so random, just out of the blue, not even through working hours, just out of the blue, your internet's working. And a lot of people were wondering, where's the videos? What took you so long to upload? Obviously, they didn't watch the podcast, but it was because I was offline for 3.5 weeks. It took basically 3.5 weeks to get back online after getting my internet installed on January 20th. So it's been crazy. It's been a long wait, and it's been ridiculous. But we are now back online, which of course you probably know by now since all the videos I've been doing, and I have been trying my best to get back into the swing of things. I know the channel's taken obviously a big hit over the past 3 weeks of inactivity, and I'm trying to recover after that. I need to sort that out, but it's going to be a good week in the next few weeks because next week I think I will be moving into my new house. I don't know if I will be doing a podcast before I move in or after moving, I'm not sure. But I will be moving into the new house, which is obviously so exciting. So I'll let you know what's going on there by following me on Twitter at BrendenPlayz. I'll keep you guys up to date on that. But next week's obviously a big and exciting week. I don't know, I might have to try and put my internet on before I go. Hopefully we don't have the same kind of internet situation. Let's hope not. But so the next week or so is going to be pretty chaotic. I need to obviously start packing, start getting all my shit sorted out, and get ready to move out. So that's going to be cool. Obviously, university starting up in 2 weeks as well, which is kind of crap. It's a bit of a downer. I mean, whatever. University back. This will be my 4th year of university or college, however you call it. So, been doing it for a while now, and I guess I know the routine. I know how to go about it. I know what I like to do. I know my own style to it, which is basically do nothing until I have to. Avoid university work until I have to do it, then do it, and just kind of, smash it out as fast as I possibly can. But I don't know if that will take a bit of an impact on the channel again. I think it may, for a few days. Obviously, once I'm getting my internet on, getting everything sorted out, I'm going to be buying a new computer probably this week. I now officially have all the money for it, which is fantastic. Big payday came in, and I've been saving up for the last maybe 6 months. So I finally have enough cash for it, which has been great because I didn't want to dip into the savings account to buy it. I wanted just to kind of earn it, and I have, which has been awesome. So I want to thank everyone that's obviously been supporting the channel. A lot of people buying through the forums, been supporting us. Twitch donations, obviously, as well. And just by watching the videos, it's a big help. And now I'm going to get the new computer. So that could probably take a few days or maybe even a week to kind of get everything sorted out. So we're not quite back 100% yet. But for the most part, we are back. Bragging rights, I will be trying to finish bragging rights off once I finish the podcast today. It's basically nearly done. So once I finish bragging rights, I'm going to render it, which will probably take a day, and then I'll upload it, which generally takes 30 hours to upload a pay-per-view at this house. But now since my internet's upgraded, it probably will take maybe 6-7 hours, which is a lot better, obviously. The speeds that I've got, a lot of people have been asking me the speeds. It's not great. I used to get 5 down and about 0.6, 0.7, and that's not gigs, that's megabytes, 0.7 upload speed. Now it's about probably realistically 22 down and about 4.5 up, which is cool. It's obviously a big improvement, and just uploading a regular video takes 1 hour or maybe 90 minutes instead of 6-7 hours. So it's a big improvement. saves a lot of time. It's so crazy how much time you spend just waiting for a video to upload or render. It's crazy, just lose so much time. So that's one thing I'm trying to really cut back on, and the internet upgrade does certainly help. But I won't be here for much longer, so I won't be able to really enjoy it for very long. I did try streaming this week as well. Some of you might have caught a test stream that I did a few days ago. It turns out that the stream was pretty laggy. It was okay, but it would just kind of freeze and just, it was a bit glitchy as well. I'm not exactly sure why that was the case, but I think my internet might not be good enough to stream at a decent, level. But so I'll probably avoid a stream. I wanted to stream bragging rights, but I think it's best that I probably leave that. Otherwise, there's a fair chance that, there could be problems that occur. So we'll probably leave the bragging rights stream. And then after that, though, we definitely will be streaming a lot of the pay-per-views from now on. Certainly when I get to the new house, I should be having probably speeds of 80 up, 100 down, 100 up is what I'll be purchasing. You never really get that. So I'll probably be getting, maybe 90 or 85, whatever. Anything like that would be great. So obviously that's good enough to stream, very good to stream, and a new computer as well. So I'll be able to stream from now on. So Twitch, I will be returning very, very soon, which I'm obviously very excited about. And I want to play a lot of the new games that are coming out. I might buy Far Cry Primal and just play that on stream, or Uncharted when that comes out, the new UFC coming out, all these other games that are coming out. I'll start buying these games, just playing them on stream, and still play the WWE from time to time. Just still play that because that's obviously what you guys like the most. But I certainly need to start streaming more stuff and kind of branching out a little bit more. And that's the same with the channel as well. Like I want to do some more playthroughs and things like that, and play some different games. So that's something you can definitely look out for. I know I've kind of touched on this just about every week in a row, but I like talking about it. But so bragging rights, certainly on its way. I did the promo video. If you didn't check that out, make sure you do. It's on the channel, and that should be up. Aiming for a Wednesday or Thursday release. So obviously it's going to take another day. So it's Tuesday now. Well, it's nearly Wednesday here, so most likely probably a Thursday, my time kind of release. Maybe even, Thursday night my time, maybe Thursday morning for all your other guys that are overseas. So that's probably where we're aiming right now. If you are a Patreon supporter, I will send it out early for you. So make sure if you're not already to support the Patreon. I did kind of update that a little bit this week as well. I still don't quite know what I want to do with that. I mean, I neglected it for a long time. I need to kind of do something with it, and I guess all these things I'll be trying to sort out when I have my own office and more time to kind of dedicate to YouTube. And that's something I want to do as well. I kind of want to dedicate a certain amount of time in a day to YouTube and to Twitch and to everything else, to social media. That's something I definitely want to do, and kind of just allocate that time and be more effective with my time, because sometimes I'm just like, I don't really feel like it, or I just kind of do it when I feel like it. I'd rather just a set time. All right, this is the time of the day that you're going to spend making videos, streaming, and then the rest of the time of the day you can do whatever the hell you want. So that's something I'm definitely going to be trying to do. Try to work more of a schedule, which is something I know you guys would probably really appreciate, because you never know when my next videos are coming out. And I definitely want to try and do daily Universe Mode episodes. Maybe try and make that 2 videos a day. Bring in more different series. I know it's a lot more work I got to do, but it's something I need to do to grow the channel. I think you guys want more content. I think that's a reason probably why my growth has been a little stagnant, because I think you guys are wanting more. I'm not probably giving you enough content and giving people enough content to keep coming back for more and more and more. So that's something that I'll probably try and address. I'll try that out, see if that works or not, and we'll go from there. But that'll be something that we definitely do try, and But we've got a lot of things to talk about today in terms of Raw. We've got Fast Lane coming up as well, so I won't ramble too much longer on my day and my week and everything like that. But let's get into Monday Night Raw. And Monday Night Raw, well, I guess there wasn't really many talking points. There's a lot of things I want to talk about overall. There's a few news tidbits that I want to talk about. But there's a couple different things that happened that were worth mentioning on Raw tonight. And we'll get straight into it. So, a new Intercontinental Champion. Kevin Owens, the new champion. We had a fatal 5-way match. something I've never really seen before, heard of before. I didn't even know that existed. I think having a fatal 5-way was kind of like a really lazy way to kind of name it, because, you know, you got fatal 4-way, fair enough. You got triple threat, okay. But a fatal 5-way, I get it, the F and the F. But couldn't they just come up with something a little bit different? You know, something 5-way, you know, whatever. You know, something a little bit more interesting, something cool, like a better name for it, rather than just, oh yeah, fatal 5-way. It's just very lazy, I thought, with the naming of it. But nonetheless, the match was okay. We had Tyler Breeze in it, who hasn't won a match since he came in. I don't even know how he constitutes a title shot. He's barely even on Raw ever. Stardust, who nobody cares about. So it really was just Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler, the only possibilities that could possibly win the match, or Dean Ambrose, of course. I thought Dean Ambrose was probably going to lose the belt. I felt as though it was time. I felt as though Ambrose is above the Intercontinental Championship. I think it's time for him to move up. You know, him having the title, I looked at him today and he had the Intercontinental Championship. I just felt as though he was being held back by having that championship. It just kind of put him in that place where he doesn't really deserve to be. He's not ready yet for this kind of opportunity. He's not ready for the WWE Championship. And now that he does not have it, I'm starting to believe more in him. You know, that now he's a full-fledged main event guy. And I think he's definitely at that level right now. No Rollins, no Cena, no Orton, and no Daniel Bryan, obviously. A lot of the top guys are out. Dean Ambrose is the only real perfect fit right now to elevate up. You could argue Kevin Owens as well. I mean, they've tried Sheamus. He was an absolute disaster. Del Rio's doing nothing. So Dean Ambrose is really the only fit to move up to the card and create him into a main event guy. And I think he's certainly there. He gets a loud enough reaction. His promos are alright, and I think he's got... I know he can really talk. I know he can get a great promo out of him, but I just have yet to really hear one from him that's really made me go, holy shit, that was a great promo. Like Paul Heyman later on in the show, cut a promo on Roman Reigns. I'm like, wow, this is great. Paul Heyman's on fire tonight. I never get that feeling with Dean Ambrose when he's cutting a promo. I know he can talk. I feel as though it's there in him, but I'm just yet to see it from him. But I definitely think he is ready to be amongst, you know, Reigns and Lesnar and Triple H and all these other guys at the top. I think he's at that level. They just need to solidify him by giving him a win so everybody else, the crowd, believes in Dean Ambrose and believes, and we have that, you know, that knowledge. Yes, he's got this big win. He won this title at this time. We know he can be there. We know he's good enough, you know, in storyline-wise. So that's something that I think they need to give Dean Ambrose. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't think he's going to win the triple threat. I don't think he's facing Triple H at WrestleMania. I have no idea what they're going to do with him. Absolutely no idea. In fact, I have no idea what they're doing with the WrestleMania card. Really, really don't. The only match I can really see right now is Triple H versus Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar, and probably Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. Those are really the only matches that I can see right now. You know, and that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? I mean, probably the New Day versus the Dudleys versus the Usos versus Lucha Dragons, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. But they're really kind of lacking, you know, the build-up towards WrestleMania right now. And I just feel as though I don't really know where they're going with it. So Dean Ambrose, I have no idea what they do with him. I really, really don't. But I still think he's got a bright future for him. I actually believe, like last year, when Seth Rollins had the belt and Ambrose was just on absolute fire, killing it, I thought he should have won the belt back then and dropped it from Rollins and really kind of rode his momentum and really create him to a top guy. But they never did. They never really did. And I felt as though they really missed a trick there. And Ambrose really took a big suffering from that. And it took him quite some time to get out of it. And I think it's really only just now that he's starting to get back into where he was. Even then, I still feel as though when he was working with Rollins last year, he was much more elevated than he is now. And I think he's got a while to go just quite yet. He needs some big wins. He's getting tossed around by a Lesnar. You know, I get it. You know, this guy not going to give up. He's going to keep on fighting no matter what. You know, doesn't give a shit who is in front of him. But I just feel as though that he needs a big win. I don't think he needs to turn, by the way, and we'll talk about that probably later. But I don't think he needs to turn. I just think he needs a big win. And we'll talk about the turn now. You know, they teased Ambrose hitting the dirty deeds on Reigns at the end of Raw. I don't think that's anything remotely close to a heel turn. I don't think Ambrose is turning heel. I don't think Roman Reigns is turning heel. I think that is just a planned way to get you interested in Fast Lane. Oh my god, is Dean Ambrose going to turn at Fast Lane? I'll check it out. It's just a way to hook you into the match. An extra component to the match, because it's a triple threat. Brother versus brother is what they're kind of building towards. So obviously they needed to have some kind of confrontation between the two to have some sort of build-up, because you can't just have Ambrose and Reigns versus Lesnar. You know, it's got to be all three men, and that little confrontation between the two just kind of set up something. Alright, we might see these two beat each other up at the pay-per-view, and what will happen when those two do face off. Just kind of that extra element to building up towards the pay-per-view matchup. So, new Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens, no problem with that. I mean, he was really the only logical choice. Dolph Ziggler, yes, he's beaten him the last few weeks, but Ziggler is on his way out. Let's be honest, Ziggler, he has little to no passion left. He has fought for the last few years, and he's scratched and clawed to try and get anywhere in this company, and look where it's gotten him. Nowhere. You know, every time he's doing something right, he just gets pushed back down. The guy has tried his best, but really it's done. He's done. He probably knows he's done. I think he was pretty close to leaving the WWE when his contract was up, but I think he felt as though, look, I'll stay around for another year or so, and we'll reassess that. But I really believe this time next year, or whenever his contract expires next, that's the end of Dolph Ziggler. I really can't see him being around for much longer, which is a real shame. But I think Ziggler, he's getting paid pretty well. I think, he'd be one of the higher paid guys in the company, certainly for the mid-card. Probably paid around that, 500,000 plus mark, definitely. And I think he sells a little bit of merchandise. Not fantastic, not, great numbers, but I'm sure he does get some merchandise sales. So I'm sure he's pretty well off. And he's got this comedy gig he wants to do, obviously. Maybe he can try acting as well, like most people try and do. So he's got a few things he can do, and he's still got his health. He's still, in shape. He's doing all the, he's still got all this potential to give to other things. I just can't see him wasting it on wrestling, just jobbing out on, just being used as a guy to put someone else over in the mid-card. I just can't see him doing that. And it doesn't seem like he's the guy who wants it. He's a guy who wants, to give 100%. He wants to be a champion. He wants to be the man, and he's just not going to get that anymore. I just feel as though that's never going to happen for him. So I don't even think there's a point in trying to invest in Ziggler for much longer, because I don't think he's going to be around for much longer. So Kevin Owens is the right choice. Makes you kind of wonder, though, why they gave Ambrose the belt in the first place. But I think it was just to kind of establish Ambrose and give him that big win, give him a championship, kind of build him up a little bit to, and elevate the championship just a touch. Build him up so okay, he can be a champion. He is a future champion, blah, blah, blah. So I don't really mind what they did there. And having Ambrose lose the championship without being pinned, I think was a good idea as well. Keeps Ambrose looking good. He goes into the triple threat, and immediately people go, alright, whatever, and we move on to the next thing. We don't really harp on it like, oh my god, Ambrose lost the IC title. I don't think anybody's really reacting that way. I'm certainly not. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly believe that Ambrose losing the title is a good thing. I think, yep, alright, good, he's lost the title, he can go on to bigger things now. Whereas Kevin Owens was kind of just, floundering around a little bit, just having good matches with Ziggler every week after week after week after week, it seemed. And now they can have a title for it and whatever. And I think, the way I see it, I believe Kevin Owens will retain the title at Fast Lane. AJ Styles will defeat Chris Jericho at Fast Lane, and then we'll have AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. If not, I still think a multi-man match is certainly possible, but if there's no multi-man match, I certainly see a one-on-one between Owens and Styles. But we also had a promo between Charlotte and Brie Bella. A lot of mixed reactions on this promo. Some saying it was god-awful, some saying it was okay. To be honest, I missed half of it. The mailman came and dropped off a package halfway through her promo, so I missed half of it. What I was, hearing, though, I didn't mind. I felt as though she was really trying. Brie, though, she's just so bad on the mic. She's just not believable at all. She just feels like she's overacting every time she talks. Charlotte, a little bit of the same, but, I felt as though she really delivered a better promo than what we've seen. It's just at least a bit of fire and a little bit of passion there and what she was delivering, basically telling Brie Bella to go home. And I think she will. There's a lot of rumors right now that Brie Bella is retiring. Some say after Fast Lane, some say after WrestleMania. I think she'll go to WrestleMania because you get a WrestleMania payday. Everybody knows that. You may as well stay and stick around and compete at WrestleMania. I'm sure they'll give her a match of some magnitude. Perhaps Nikki will be back by then. I don't know. And, they'll put them in a match. I don't know. But maybe they'll just have a Divas pre-show match or Battle Royal, whatever they normally do. I think there might be 2 Divas matches this year. There probably will have to be. There's a lot of Divas now that have some decent credibility, like Becky, like Sasha, like Charlotte, and, Naomi, Tamina, to a lesser extent as well. So you got quite a number of Divas that you probably need to do something with, and just having a one-on-one matchup, and that's it, I think a lot of the Divas are probably missing out. So, in some capacity, I think a lot of the Divas will be used, and I think Brie Bella will stick around to then. I think she should retire. I think she's done everything she can do. She's never going to hold the championship. She's been basically the jobber, the person who takes the pin in every single one of the Team Bella matches. Brie Bella would lose and lose and lose and lose. I have no idea how the hell she deserves a title shot. I think she had one win and she gets a title shot, but that's how the WWE operates right now. There's no ranking system. There's no nothing. If you beat somebody, you get a title shot. That's just the way it is. And, quite honestly, I think that's a little bit ridiculous. But, so Brie Bella leaving the WWE, I mean, it's not a real loss. I think nobody will really miss her. I think she's done everything she can do. She's had a pretty good career. She lasted quite some time. But I think she's ready to start a family. And once you start a family, once you have a kid, when you're a female wrestler, you may as well be dead in the WWE's eyes because they're never bringing you back. Rosa Mendez, who's pregnant right now, she ain't never coming back. She's finished. And once her contract runs out, and once she's had the kid, and there's been enough time passed so there doesn't get bad PR. The WWE firing her over her pregnancy. Once that settles down, she's gone. And Brie Bella probably the same, so she can retire and move on. And I think Daniel Bryan has made enough cash. I think Brie Bella's made enough cash, and obviously she's got other interest in other business things. If you watch Total Divas, you'll know. She's doing these other outside projects anyway, so I think she'll be fine. So, I think she should retire. I think she should be done and, move on. And we spoke about it a little bit earlier, Paul Heyman's promo on Roman Reigns I really enjoyed. I just felt as though it was more that Heyman magic that we've really missed. We've needed some Heyman magic. It's been a big thing that's missing on the show. And for me, he really sold Fast Lane well. Paul Heyman just could sell ice to an Eskimo. He can sell anything. He is so brilliant. And, the thing is, he does it in a way that puts over his opponents, but also puts over his client. So he's not just coming out there and saying, look, Roman Reigns, you're no good. You are not good enough to beat my client. He says, Roman Reigns, I respect you. You're very, very good. And I know that you're going to go places. I know you're going to do a lot of great things in your career. But you're just not going to beat my client. My client is just that much better. So he does it in a way that it helps everybody out. And that's the thing that I certainly admire about Paul Heyman. Get other guys who cut promos and they're basically trying to belittle their opponent, trying to put their opponent down, make themselves feel better, certainly as a heel, but Heyman does it in a way where everybody benefits, and a guy like Roman Reigns obviously can't really get his point across through his verbal skills. He's just not quite good enough for that. And every time Reigns talks, it just feels as though, oh my god, get him off the mic. He's not getting any better. He's really not. He's just very dull. And I get it, it's probably his character, but he just needs to talk with a little bit of passion behind it. It feels like he's just, reading off a script. Yeah. It's just very dull, very deep, and just doesn't really, you just don't really connect to it. So Heyman kind of talks for Reigns in a way, talks for Ambrose in a way, and also talks for Lesnar in a way. So I really, really admire Paul Heyman. You can say what you want to say about the guy. You could go on for hours and hours about how good he is, because he really is that good, and I love seeing him. So he certainly sold the matchup a little bit more for me. Fastlane, I think, will be a pretty decent show. I don't think it'll be anything to really rave about, but I think it'll be a pretty good show with a few good matches on it. And certainly now the triple threat, I think that could probably be one of the best matches of the year. I really believe it's going to be right up there if done right. So look forward to that one. Another thing I want to talk about is Paige. What the hell has happened to Paige? She's coming out now, and I don't know what they're doing with her makeup. She's looking more and more like a porn star every single week. Just so much makeup covered in it. She looks dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Not attractive at all. And I think Paige is pretty cute. I definitely think she's, a good-looking woman, but, oh my god, the way she's been doing her makeup lately has been shocking, and obviously hasn't changed her ring attire, but her makeup is terrible. So, cut back on the makeup, Paige, please. But also, what the hell has Paige done? She must have pissed somebody off, rubbed somebody the wrong way. Maybe she grabbed Vince McMahon's arm as well. Maybe she grabbed Triple H's arm. Maybe she was talking to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon walked in on them talking. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she looked at Triple H the wrong way. I don't know, but for some reason, Paige is in the doghouse, because if you lose to Summer Rae, you're in trouble. Summer Rae, a woman who barely wrestles on Raw. We never really see her. I mean, last time we really saw her in any capacity, she was Rusev's manager, which was quite some time ago now. So, I mean, you lose to Summer Rae, who got a jobber entrance, by the way. I mean, what is going on? I mean, are they going to push Summer Rae? God, I hope not. I don't think they will. I think if Summer Rae's on Raw next week and she wins again, alright, I see what they did, and they want to give Summer Rae a big win. But wouldn't they give her an entrance? Wouldn't they, talk about her a bit more? I mean, it was all about Paige. And instead, Paige loses. I think this is more just a way to kind of humble Paige. I think she's probably got a bit of a reputation, since she's young, she's probably a bit full of herself. She's probably, the guys in the back, probably want to kind of set her straight and kind of see how she goes when she's losing and losing and losing, because this is what they do. The WWE does this all the time with everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. There's always a period of time in your career, for most guys, where you're losing, and they want to see how you react, how you handle that, and how you come back from that. And probably this is another case of it. Paige, immediately coming to the main roster, was the Divas Champion, and she was on top. On top, she was getting over, she was doing well, and she was champion multiple times. There's never really been a point where she's had a bit of a lull to a long extent, where she's lost and, she's looked like a joke. Maybe that's what they want to do with her now. For some reason, let's not have her look good. We've only got, room for a couple divas. Let's not make Paige one of those divas who's one of our top divas. We can't have that. So let's put her down and let's have her lose to Summer Rae for some reason, just to kind of send a message, send a statement to her. Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. And I know Total Divas is a complete work, but even sometimes she's had some interactions, I think, with Road Dogg, and he's tried to talk to her backstage. Even though it's a work, I'm sure maybe some of those instances are actually real. And there's probably been some of those cases where they've been pretty pissed off with something that Paige has done. I have no idea what, but you never know. Finally, for Monday Night Raw, we had our great friend, The Big Show, main event. Monday Night Raw with Braun Strowman in a match that went for a few minutes, and we had Kane come out and take out the Wyatt family. We had Ryback come out and get bitched out. I mean, I was actually kind of, pumped. I thought, alright, this is the main event of Raw, so obviously someone's coming out to save Ryback and Big Show. Who's it going to be? I was kind of on my edge of my seat for a little bit. I'm like, alright, here we go. Who's it going to be? Someone's coming through the ring. It's Kane. Oh, God. And I was immediately disappointed, and I immediately just slouched back in my chair and didn't give a shit. So, as much as I've liked Kane and Big Show throughout their careers, I just really cannot get into them anymore. I'm so fed up with them. I just feel as though they're both completely done in my eyes. But the Big Show believes he's got another 2 years left in him. I watched the Steve Austin podcast with the Big Show on it, and it was really good. I knew it was going to be good. A lot of people were like, oh my god, the Big Show's on Austin's podcast. But I heard the Big Show and Jericho podcast, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was one of Jericho's best casts. It was fantastic. So, the Big Show and Austin show was really, really good. It's some great stories. Some I've already heard before from Jericho's show. You will hear some of the same things sometimes. Certainly with the airport thing, and him wearing the tile around, and him with how to get into the business and things like that, but that's just to be expected. But they shared some great stories, and I think it was really, really good and great insight. And in the Big Show reveal, look, I think I've got 2 more years left in him. So we're going to see the Big Show around for a lot longer. I think he's 44, 45, so he's probably realistically does have a couple years still left in him. And look, Big Show, he has a place on the card, and he does. He's a big guy. He's a veteran. Can work with a younger talent, especially a guy like Braun Strowman. I think Braun would have a lot to learn from a Big Show. And I think him working with Braun would certainly be a good thing for Braun heading into the future. Because I think Braun Strowman is probably Kane's replacement. And probably Big Show's as well to a lesser extent. I think Braun's probably more of a Kane replacement. That big guy who, maybe more of a Big Show. Because I was going to say Kane, he could do some moves like back in the day, fly out the top rope a little bit, a little bit more agile than the Big Show. Before the Big Show, early days perhaps, but certainly now not so much. So probably more like the Big Show. So I think Show and Strowman together is a pretty good fit, and obviously Kane's in there now, so I guess you get the best of both worlds. But if he's obviously in a working capacity where he's just putting over guys, and he is, to be fair, a lot of people say, "Oh my God, Big Show is burying talent." He's not. Sometimes I've even said on the show, "Oh my God, I can't believe Big Show did that." He came in, and certainly for the Royal Rumble, he came out and just punched the shit out of everyone and made him look ridiculously good, made everyone look like an idiot. Yes, those types of things happen, and that kind of annoys me with how they do that with the Big Show. But I kind of get why they do it, because obviously he's a big dude. They want to sell Big Show for the Rumble. I get it for some of those instances. But, when they had the Big Show and Kane come out and beat up the Wyatt family a few times, it makes them look bad. I think realistically you got to have, these younger guys doing more of these things to the Big Show and Kane and Mark Henry and these guys, more so than the other way around. But for the most part, they're doing them okay, booking them pretty decently. Sometimes, you can be a little bit iffy about it. But Big Show, main eventing Raw, I felt as though it was like, ugh. I would have liked a Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus the Dudley Boys, which is going to happen on SmackDown. I would have rather that happen on Raw. I actually thought that was going to be the main event. But once again, also, Monday Night Raw going overtime, like 3 hours and 10 minutes or whatever, like nearly 15 minutes. I mean, how hard is it to make a 3-hour show and not go 10 minutes overtime? It's ridiculous. Every week it's overtime. So it's not just 3 hours, which is hard enough, but they give you 3 hours and 10, 15, 20 minutes overtime. Oh my God, it's getting nearly unwatchable sometimes. I mean, it's so much to get through. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of of the show, big fan of the WWE, big fan of Raw. But the show just drags on. Really, you really notice it some weeks. It just drags on. This week, not so much, to be honest. I thought the first couple of hours went pretty quick. But so when they go overtime, oh my God, that's terrible. But they got to sort that out. But Big Show main eventing Raw, a little bit, not a great way to end the show. And it's certainly having Ryback and Kane to end the show with the Wyatt family, and even having a match, I don't even know. I mean, that was a little bit strange. You probably should have done something with Reigns and Ambrose. That little thing they had, that should have ended Raw. Not what they did earlier. I think that should have definitely ended Raw. So it's just a little bit strange to me. I think they made a bit of a mistake there. So yeah, but so Monday Night Raw, not a bad show overall. It is what it is. It's your regular show, pretty much the same things that generally happen, except for a title match, and not a bad build up towards Fast Lane. I'm looking forward to it. I guess we'll get into Fast Lane now. We've got a few predictions for the show. We might do probably a longer show today. I got a few questions I want to line up as well, a few other things to talk about. But we'll get into Fast Lane first, and we'll start from the bottom, and we have Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. Apparently it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. I'm reading this off Wikipedia, so I probably am very, very wrong. But apparently it's a Wikipedia, 2 out of 3 falls match, according to Wikipedia, for the US title. And it's going to be on the pre-show. That's ridiculous. I mean, they've only got 5 matches that are on my list here that are announced. And you mean to tell me they can't fit anything into the main show? I mean, this US title match in the main show? Really? I mean, you got Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks versus Naomi and Tamina. That's on the main show, but the US title match isn't? That's ridiculous. I get it. You want to sell the pre-show, you want to try and sell the pay-per-view, but if you want to sell the pay-per-view, you have the best matches on the card possible. You don't give away a big match, quote-unquote, on the pre-show. It's just not how it works. It's just not what you do. So again, I think that's just ridiculous that they've even thought about doing that. And then you have Becky Lynch and Sasha versus Naomi and Tamina, which I believe is just a throwaway match. Obviously, Becky and Sasha are going to win. And I feel as though that's a throwaway match. I'd put that on the pre-show instead. But yet they've got a title match on pre-show. It's baffling. Del Rio, Kalisto to win that. I don't really have many thoughts about this because this is going to be ironic, but I don't really care about the match. Kalisto as a champion so far, well, they're having him team up, having him versus the League of Nations, so obviously I'm going to fall half asleep when it's League of Nations, who, by the way, Sheamus was back this week. Yeah, that's the sound of the crowd going wild. This, a couple seconds of silence. Yep, yeah, nobody cared. And still, Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, is he ever going to wrestle? This guy, I don't think he's in one match, at least I can remember, with the League of Nations. He's not even their mouthpiece. He's just the guy who walks out to the ring with him. I don't know. What is his role? What has he done? Like, if I was a League of Nations, I'd be like, who the hell is this guy? Like, he hasn't done anything for us. Why are we keeping him around? It's ridiculous. So, Bad News Barrett, I get it. He's probably injured, but come on, you're going to wrestle at some point. Maybe they're saving Bad News Barrett for WrestleMania in a big, 4-on-4 match. The League of Nations versus who knows. Maybe they're saving Barrett for that big WrestleMania match. I'm sure that we're all very excited to see him wrestle again. I know I definitely am really, really excited for it. I just cannot wait. Bad News Barrett's fantastic. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. And if you can't sense the sarcasm in that, then God help you. But, so I think Kalisto will probably retain the title. I have no idea what they're going to do with Kalisto at WrestleMania, but I guess they'll just do probably a Battle Royal. Maybe they'll put the title on the line in the Andre Battle Royal. Maybe they'll do the multi-man match for the US title. Instead of the IC title, have Owens and Styles one-on-one. Maybe they'll do a 6-man ladder match or fatal 4-way or something for the US title at WrestleMania. Charlotte versus Brie Bella. Definitely Charlotte's going to win. Even though I think Charlotte as a Divas champion has completely been a huge bust. And I personally believe Nikki Bella, much better champion. I think she's done a lot more for the title than Charlotte has. I think Charlotte has sucked. Really has. I think Becky Lynch or Sasha should be champion. I would have Becky Lynch as champion, but they're persistent with Charlotte. I think it's because they want to do Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Maybe Becky Lynch as well, triple threat at WrestleMania. But to be fair, I believe she's got to drop the belt. Get rid of the belt at WrestleMania, please. Brie Bella will not win this. I mean, maybe they'll have Brie Bella win it and drop it the next night on Raw and have her retire. But what the fuck would be the point of that? That would just be stupid. I mean, why would we do that? So, I could see it happening. Maybe they'll want to give her the big, send-off. But, to be honest, that does not need to happen. And in wrestling, that kind of thing doesn't really happen very often. In wrestling, when you win, when you're on your way out, you put your opponent over in most cases. So, Brie Bella should lose. Charlotte should win. Becky and Sasha versus Naomi and Tamina. I said this earlier, but Sasha and Becky will definitely win. It should be a comprehensive victory for those two. A decent little build-up towards that one, but Naomi and Tamina are just so uninteresting to me. I just feel as though they just don't have it for me. I just can't stand them. So, nothing there for me in that one. And Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC Championship. Kevin Owens winning the title. I mean, honestly, if you have him lose it on Fast Lane, what the hell would be the point of him winning it on Raw? I think that would be stupid. So for me, Owens wins, goes on to verse, I would think, AJ Styles for the IC Championship. And this one's not official yet, but let's be honest, it's going to be Jericho versus Styles. I think AJ Styles will beat Jericho cleanly, comprehensively, and Jericho will put him over, and Styles will go on to a big match at Mania. Obviously, my idea would be Owens versus Styles. What would Jericho do at WrestleMania? No idea. Probably thrown into a multi-man match, to be honest. I just don't see him having a singles match. I mean, a lot of people kind of throwing up the idea of Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose one-on-one at WrestleMania. I could see that, and that might be really the only other thing that's available. I mean, Ambrose will be free, we assume, and Jericho will be free. Perhaps we see a singles match between those two. But can we really get much out of it in a 5-week build? Again, most of these matches are going to have a 5-week build. Can we really get much out of it in a 5-week build? I don't know, but that's probably the way perhaps I see it. And finally, the main event, triple threat match to be the number one contender for the World Championship to face Triple H at WrestleMania. No-brainer here. It's got to be Roman Reigns. I see the Wyatt family coming in, attacking Lesnar. Triple threat rules, no disqualification, obviously. The lights go out. Lesnar's probably about to win. Hits the F5 on maybe Reigns or Ambrose. Maybe both. And the Wyatt family come out. The lights go off. and they beat up Brock Lesnar, and they carry him out of the ring, and then it's down to Ambrose and Reigns, and those two battle it out for a little bit of time, and Reigns gets the better of him and wins. Something like that will probably happen. That will set up Lesnar versus the Wyatts, probably Bray Wyatt 1-on-1, we would assume. Hopefully it is. I don't really want to see Lesnar versus, Braun, which is probably the only other guy they would do, because they would never do Harper versus Lesnar, God no. And I don't really want to see Bray versus Lesnar, to be honest. I have no interest in that match, but what else really is there for Lesnar to do? I guess he's really kind of out of opponents. They wanted to do Owens versus Lesnar, that's a match I didn't really want to see either, so I guess Bray Wyatt's an okay choice, really. I mean, we'll get away with it. I mean, it'll do. So, we'll see. But that's Fast Lane so far. I think they'll add a tag team match. The Dudley Boys will do something on the pay-per-view, maybe versus the New Day for the titles, maybe a triple threat match for the titles to throw the Usos in. Maybe the New Day have the night off, and it's just the Usos versus the Dudley Boys. I don't know, but that'll probably be one of the other matches added in. And so that will do it for Fast Lane. And how are we going? Got a bit of time left, and I tell you one guy who's not going to be at Fast Lane, Titus O'Neil. Last week I gave him a rap. I said, this guy, I'm a big fan of Titus O'Neil. He's great. They were giving him a little bit of a push. They might be taking it away from, I don't know what's going on with Titus. So hopefully they give it a push, maybe the US title. Well, forget about that. He is done. He is suspended for 60 days for grabbing Vince McMahon. Some people say, Titus fucked up, terrible. Why would you do that? Why would you grab Vince? Other people say, look, he was just being, just making a gesture. He was just joking around, fooling around, whatever. Apparently, he grabbed Vince McMahon's arm to say, look, Stephanie goes first, ladies first, whatever. But Vince McMahon turned around and shoved Titus O'Neil. He got real aggressive. He went off at Titus. It was, a little bit uncomfortable just to even look at. Vince McMahon, I can't believe he would, do that. And that was just crazy. I felt as though Vince should have been more of a professional about it. I get it. You get your arm grabbed, and you're not expecting it, and you're 70 years old, and you're going, what the hell just happened? I get that. But really, wouldn't you just turn around and be like, what'd you do that for? Like, what just happened? Because there's no way Titus O'Neil is going to, beat up Vince McMahon. And certainly not in front of, and not around the whole roster, who would immediately just beat the shit out of Titus O'Neil if anything happened to Vince. There's no way anything really was going to happen. So for me, I think this whole situation was blown out of proportion. Apparently there was rumors that Vince McMahon wanted to fire Titus O'Neil. He wanted to fire Titus O'Neil out of it, and apparently Triple H talked him out of it. And I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's some of the things I've been reading. Take that one with a grain of salt. But the suspension was originally 90 days, taken down to 60, but really, you're going to have the guy miss WrestleMania over this. This is ridiculous. The guy was probably only going to be in the Battle Royal, but hey, that's still WrestleMania. You still get to be in front of the crowd, which is going to be built up as one of the biggest crowds ever, blah, 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 blah. They want to break the attendance record. You want to be a part of that. And poor old Titus O'Neil is going to be sitting on the sidelines because of his stupid mistake that really didn't have any intentional malice behind it. Didn't really want to attack Vince McMahon. It was just a little mistake. Did he fuck up? Yes. Should he have done it? No. But I don't think he should be punished this much. I think he was fined $5,000 and suspended for 60 days. And this is a guy who we all publicly know does a lot of great charity work, does a lot of great things for the homeless, for the kids. He's a great guy. He's a fantastic human being. Yet, as soon as he does something like this, he's made an example of. That's the thing. The whole rumor is that Vince McMahon wanted to set an example. You can't do this to the boss. Let me set an example out of Titus O'Neil. I mean, you set an example out of a guy who does something, realistic, like gets in a backstage fight with someone. Something like Karma did in TNA. They made an example of Karma. Awesome Kong. They fired her. Titus O'Neil, he was going to get fined for grabbing Vince McMahon's arm. Now, I probably have no doubt in my mind that there is some kind of rule that you cannot touch Vince. No doubt. They've got rules where you can't say, wrestling or, pro wrestling or whatever on commentary. I'm sure there's a rule that, in the contract you cannot touch Vince McMahon unless, you're a part of an angle or you're allowed to. So I'm sure there's something like that. He's probably breached something, little fine print in his contract. And, he's gone. I guess when you think about it in other workplace environments, let's say you're in an office job and you grab your boss's arm and you kind of pull him away a little bit, that's quite a different circumstance. And I think, for most cases, the boss would probably be pretty pissed off about it. I don't think he would fire him over it, but I think he would certainly be in trouble about it. And I have no doubt, I believe Titus O'Neil should be punished for it, but I would have had him being fined, taken off TV for a few weeks, maybe, sent home for a few weeks, give him a fine, but bring him back after Fast Lane, bring him back, a couple weeks, before WrestleMania and have him be a part of the Battle Royal. Something, maybe a 1 month suspension if you have to suspend the guy to make an example and give him a fine. But 60 days, originally 90 days, way too much. And I feel bad for the guy. Titus O'Neil is a good guy. I see that. I think he's a great guy. You see all the great things he does. I really believe he's a guy with a big heart. Didn't mean anything, malicious behind it, but he's just a victim of, the WWE trying to set an example. He's just the wrong guy at the right place. It's just they wanted somebody had to suffer because for some reason they've been having all these incidents where people have been getting away with stuff and they've been wanting to make an example of somebody. This is the rumor. Titus O'Neil was the guy, so I don't believe that was the right call. But Titus misses out of WrestleMania now, which sucks for the guy. He was getting a little bit of a push, despite losing to, I think it was Adam Rose last week. So, kind of sucks. I know Batista was absolutely furious about it. He told Titus to quit on Twitter. And I know Batista and Titus are huge, friends for a long time. And, Batista was a big influence on Titus O'Neil getting into the WWE. So Batista's obviously not real happy about it. I'm sure he kind of called Triple H and said, what the fuck happened there? But, so it's a bit of a sad case for Titus O'Neil. I kind of feel bad for the guy. Another piece of news this week, and certainly regarding WrestleMania, is John Cena. Is he coming back for WrestleMania? He put out a tweet saying he's going to take a gamble. He's going to gamble, and we all assume he's going to gamble to see if he's ready and if he can get fit in time for WrestleMania. For me, having Cena at WrestleMania would be great. I think the card needs it. I think we would all be happy to see him there. I'm missing Cena. I think there's a big gap in the roster left. If Cena had been injured now and you still had Rollins, you still had Orton, you would be okay with it. Be like, all right, we can deal with it. Fair enough. But since Cena's there and you got so many other guys are out at the same time, there's a huge hole left in the roster that just cannot be filled with Ambrose and Reigns. They need more than that. So Cena missing is a big blow. So if he can come back for WrestleMania and works at some capacity, okay. I think really having him in a big one-on-one match would be a mistake. If you really want to have Cena come in, have him work a tag match or do something, be a part of the show in some small capacity, because the guy, he's up there in age. I don't think he's going to be able to heal in time. I definitely don't believe for 1 second he's going to be 100% for WrestleMania. I think he'd be 50% at best. He might just get cleared, or they'll do some under the table crap to clear him, or just not even worry about it. So I think personally, Cena, if I was John Cena, stay out and get yourself 100%. You don't need to come back and risk your health for the future for WrestleMania. You really don't. I don't think it's really worth it. I get it. It's a big occasion. It's WrestleMania. Everyone wants to be a part of that. So if he did come back and work a match, I would have him work that match and go away for another few months and get 100%, fully heal up. Because an injury that he's had, I think it was, 6 months that he was going to be out for? It's been 2 months, not even that. So is Cena really going to be able to get back in shape and 100% in time? I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if he could. I mean, he's done it before, obviously, but, really, can he do it now at this age? And certainly he's breaking down a little bit. His body is giving way a little bit. So I don't know. I really don't know. We had another little piece of news. It's coming from Global Force Wrestling. And it's something that, I don't know if it's really newsworthy, but something I want to just kind of talk about and really laugh at. They're selling the Global Force Championship. The Women's Championship? Yeah. The GFW Women's Championship belt. They're selling it for just under $2,000. It's the title that's been held by Christina Von Eerie, I believe. And she won it on the 24th of July in 2015. I believe they've made a new version of the belt. And they're selling the old belt. They're not even keeping it, for whatever reason, Keep it in the alumni, keep it for memories. They're trying to sell it for $2,000. And they have 0 bids. Absolutely nobody has bidded on it yet. And I am not surprised. But who would really want this title? Who would really want to pay $2,000 for a championship that didn't last long, was not even, the championship for a year, held by a woman that nobody even knows, and by a company that nobody even gives a shit about? It's ridiculous. I think only a rich wrestling fan with too much money for, for his own good would buy something like this. I mean, really, why would you spend $2,000 on the authentic title? And it's a women's title. The title actually looks okay. I don't mind the belt design, but I wouldn't be paying $2,000 for it, that's for sure. Maybe $2, $20. Look, if you gave me the title, $20, yeah, I'll take it. All right, I'll take it. I'll just have it sit in my room and sit on a shelf or something. And I mean, it's the women's title. I mean, if it was the world championship, maybe I'll give them $25 for the world title, but $2,000, forget about it. Absolutely no way. So I thought that was interesting. So if you want to make a bid for that, search up the GFW women's title, and if you really want to buy that, it's right there. I think you could go and take a lighter to your money, and you'd probably get a better benefit out of it. But it's there if you want it. On the independent circuit, we're going to have Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio taking place, and I thought I would just chat about this for a moment because I think this is cool. 2 veterans battling it out on the indies. 2 guys who wrapping up their careers, got a little bit left in the tank. We'll see what they can do. They've had plenty of matches over the years. Be great to see them just one more time, even if it's just on the indies. I believe it's going to be on iPay-per-view, so it probably will be available to watch on YouTube or wherever you get your wrestling from. And that'll be cool. I'll definitely be checking it out just to see these 2 in action one more time. I think it'd be really, really cool. Kurt Angle's obviously on his retirement tour. I think he's done with TNA now. And I don't know what he's going to be planning on doing. I'm hearing that he's in pretty rough shape, but we'll see how he goes. And Rey Mysterio, a lot of rumors that he might be coming back to the WWE. We don't know really yet. I would personally like to see Rey versus Kalisto. I know they wanted to do Rey versus Sin Cara for the longest time, and it never happened because Rey couldn't, stand up for more than 5 minutes without tearing his ACL. But hopefully Rey Mysterio does come back and maybe does a match for that, because that's really the only thing I want him to do. Other than that, I don't really care for Rey whatsoever. I know he's in Lucha Underground. I haven't had a chance to watch Season 2 Lucha Underground yet. I definitely want to try and check that out. So I know he's in that, and I think that will be a good fit for him. So I'll check Lucha Underground out. I'll see how he's doing in Lucha Underground, and I'll see if I actually want him to stick around in there or not, or go back to the WWE. I don't know, but I think him and Lucha Underground is a good thing. Obviously a big name in there. That's what they need since Del Rio's left. So I'm happy about that. But Kurt Angle versus Rey, I'll be checking that one out. So keep your eye out for that one on YouTube. Not sure when the dates are going to be or when that match is going to happen. I just thought I would mention it. And finally, this week, what is Brendan playing? Well, this week was a nostalgia trip. Got my internet back, obviously, which meant I could play online games again. And I actually had a bit of a craving. I had a gaming craving. I wanted to really go back and play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. My love. My true gaming love. It is a game that will always, be held so high up there. My favorite first-person shooter. The game that I think made me a hardcore gamer. The game that really made me go from, I'll play the PS3 here and there. I'll play some games. I won't really finish them all that much. I'll check a few games out. I'll play it from here and there, whatever. Got Modern Warfare 2. I couldn't get off this freaking game. I would get home from school. I think I was in the 10th grade. I would get home from school, throw all my shit down, take my bag off, kick the shoes and the socks off, turn the PS3 on, and I would be on that game for the rest of the night. Modern Warfare 2 was sensational. I love the maps. I love the guns. I love the hit detection. I just love everything. I love the kill streaks, probably the most. I got a nuke today, and I wanted to keep playing Modern Warfare 2 until I got a nuke. And I finally got one. Because I kept on getting killed when it was like, a 7 kill streak. I'll get my Harrier and I died straight away. I'll get my chopper gun and I'm dead whilst I'm in it. I just couldn't quite get there. Or, I would get it too late in the game because the only match I can find is Team Deathmatch. And not many Australians are playing it, so it's pretty crappy connection. And there's the odd hacker here or two there as well, so it's a little bit difficult at times to get there. So I got so close on many occasions, but I finally got one today. It was on Derail, because for some reason the only maps you can really get to play at the moment is Derail and Afghan and Underpass. 3 maps that I really don't like. Oh, and Wasteland as well, another map I hate too. So those are the 4 maps I seem as though I'm playing all the time. So I played Derail, and that's probably my best map out of those ones, and I finally got the nuke. I used the ACR, camped in the middle building up top, got 7 kills, got the Harrier. With the Harrier went spastic, got 8 kills, and the chopper gun, I finished it off. So, happy days. Got a nuke, played some Modern Warfare 2, great nostalgia trip, something I want to do. Maybe I'll go back on Black Ops 1, which is my second favorite COD. Love Black Ops 1. But, I just haven't really been that motivated to play the new Call of Duties. I haven't got the new map pack for Black Ops 3 yet. I probably should. That might get me back on the game, but certainly every time I play Modern Warfare 2, I just get this enjoyment. It's such a unique thing. I have never gotten it from any other game, but whenever I'm playing it, I just have a smile. I just feel joy. Just brings back so many great memories, I guess. And I would give so much to be able to go back to Modern Warfare 2 in its prime. So much. Or, for them to bring back Modern Warfare 2, port it over to the PS4, do some kind of HD collection, do something. Bring back Modern Warfare 2, bring back Call of Duty 4, bring back Black Ops 1. These fantastic games that I loved. I never really got to play Call of Duty 4 in its prime. Never did. Would love to go back and play it again. Just do something like that. A non-hack game, good connections. Oh my god, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. So, that's really all I've been playing this week. I haven't really play that much. I'm kind of in between games. I know I probably should be playing Assassin's Creed Unity. That's my goal, to get the platinum on all the Assassin's Creeds, but I just kind of haven't had the urge to play it yet. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll probably get to it soon. But I have been playing some NBA 2K16, my GM mode as well, recording some footage to make some videos on. I want to bring back more NBA, kind of finish the series off. And I tell you what, I suck at the game. I'm going to be honest right now. Everyone that watches the series knows that I suck, but I tell you what, I fucking suck. I suck. And I am not happy about it. I am very, very furious about it. But it is what it is. You can only get better. I think I'm slowly getting better and better and better, but I've got some work to do because I keep on losing. I'm just getting frustrated. NBA just makes me incredibly frustrated because I want to play good because I'm playing, for a YouTube video. But I'm not playing good. I'm playing bad, and I always get so much hate when I do NBA videos, which is why I haven't really had too much of motivation to do anymore, because everyone's like, man, you suck. Stop playing this game, you suck, man. And it's just like, I know I suck, but I enjoy doing it. I want to kind of, do something different. The NBA is pretty fun. I like the GM aspect about it. I know I'm not really good at the game, but, it kind of sucks, but, I definitely want to do more NBA, so I'm going to try and deliver a little bit more of that, and I might even do a second season of it. I don't know yet. We'll see, but we'll see how your reaction is, because I know I've kind of done a video, waited another month to get the next episode out. I've really done it poorly, I know. So if I can get back on a schedule and do an NBA video every few days, every once a week, I don't know, maybe you guys will get back into it again. But that's kind of the plans right now. That's all I've been playing, and we have a few more questions to answer. Finally, some questions again to answer to cap off this week's show. And we have a couple of voicemails that were left a few weeks ago, but they're still relevant, so we're going to use them this week, and here's the first one.
Hi Brendan, do you think Goldust and R-Truth have done some really good backstage segments in the last few weeks on Raw and SmackDown? And also, do you think they'll be a good tag team? Thanks.
I think R-Truth has been good, but I think Goldust, he's not funny anymore. He's trying to just do his character out of the blue. He's got Tourette's again. He's being weird and doing all his mannerisms that we haven't seen him really do all that much the last couple years. He's now just suddenly doing it all again out of the blue. And what really is kind of like a Booker T and Goldust, a sad attempt at recreating that. I think R-Truth is great. I think he's funny. He's had a couple of great moments in the last few years being funny. When he's forgetting stuff, I think that's pretty funny. But this whole Goldust and R-Truth, this backstage stuff, the one where they did Goldust dressing up as the Rockstar was shocking, and this week's one was pretty bad when he sprayed the wine all over the woman. I think it was actually R-Truth's wife. So when he sprayed that all over his wife was, it was pretty cringeworthy. It was pretty bad. But in terms of a tag team, I think it's not a bad idea to team them up, just because you got another tag team in a roster that desperately needs more. And they're a veteran tag team. Some of the guys could work with them, and I don't see them really winning a title unless they get insanely over, which I don't see happening. So I see them just being like a tag team, a veteran tag team, veteran babyface tag team that will put over the New Day, put over some teams, and that'll be it.
Hey, Brendan. I sort of have a question / insight onto why Roman Reigns cannot connect with the fans, despite WWE's best attempts. And I believe it all started when there was a story, I believe last year, that leaked out of how WWE was making Reigns the next John Cena. And ever since then, the fans started to criticize all his weaknesses that showed up after he disbanded from the Shield, his mic skills and his wrestling. Do you believe that if it weren't for that story to leak out, that the people would still love Reigns, even though he still kind of has the Shield gimmick and he hasn't really changed or moved on? Or do you think it's all down to the booking, like his Royal Rumble win last year, having The Rock helping him win kind of cheap, and then him almost winning the Royal Rumble this year, kind of getting out early, then coming back late? But what do you think? I'd like to know your opinion on this matter. This is Jordan Jones from South Carolina.
I think it's not a bad theory. I think you're right in the sense that a lot of people started to turn on Roman Reigns when he started becoming a singles guy, and we all started to see, all right, Reigns is going to be the guy. He's going to be the man in the Shield, which I think we all kind of knew anyway. He was the cleanup guy. He's the guy who came in, hit his finish, and got the win for the Shield. And it was all about Roman. Originally it was all about Dean Ambrose. You remember, he was the leader at the start. Then it started to transition into Roman Reigns, who was really more the centerpiece guy, and he was the man. So I think people started to realize that, look, they're trying to make Roman Reigns the top guy of the Shield, not Ambrose or Rollins, the two guys that they probably wanted. More so Ambrose, I think, at the time, was more so the one we all thought was going to be the breakout. We thought Rollins would be pretty good. We thought Reigns would get the push, but we all thought Ambrose at the end of the day would be the man. And, well, Rollins got the push. Reigns got the push. Rollins got the long title reign. Was pretty decent. Not a great title reign, to be honest. Ambrose has yet to really get there yet, and Reigns has probably been over-pushed and, has probably yet to really reach his pinnacle yet either. He hasn't really had a great chance at the title yet, so we'll see. And I think it doesn't really have a lot to do with the fact that, a report came out that he was going to be the next John Cena. I think smart fans knew themselves that he was going to be the next John Cena. I could see it, years ago, 6 months into the Shield, I felt as though, alright, I could see where this is going. He's a pretty guy, he's a jacked up dude, and, he seems like a good guy, company kind of guy. I could see him getting in that position, and I think a lot of people did at the same time too, and he was slowly starting to get a bit of hate. But it didn't really help either when the whole Daniel Bryan thing went down. Some really bad booking and some bad placement, some bad timing certainly came about. When he won the Royal Rumble last year, it was a complete disaster. It really, really was. And the WWE just had to bite the bullet. They just said, look, this is the guy we want to push. This is the guy we believe in. And they stood their ground and they had to push him. But in the end of the day, they had Rollins win the big one. And they held off on Roman Reigns until now, which I think at the end of the day was for the best. I really believe it was. Reigns has had a good couple months. I think he's starting to lose a bit of the fire that he had, certainly after beating up Triple H. What was that, Survivor Series, I believe, or maybe TLC, either one. When after he did that, obviously Triple H and Reigns has been, certainly on the cards. We're all really looking forward to it. I think Roman Reigns had a lot of fire. He was getting some great support. I think everybody was really enjoying Reigns, but he's just kind of cooled off a little bit now. So maybe getting back into Reigns versus Triple H again might help him out. But certainly when he's up against Lesnar and Ambrose, he's never really going to be the most cheered. at the end of the day. So they're just going to have to bite the bullet a little bit on some occasions. I don't think Roman Reigns will ever be the huge fan favorite they really want him to be. I think he's going to be a hell of a heel when he does turn, if he does turn. So I think Ambrose and Reigns needs to happen. It's got to happen. I would have Roman Reigns beat up Ambrose or something down the line. Maybe Reigns wins the belt at WrestleMania, Ambrose comes out to celebrate, and Reigns beats the shit out of him. Just have Reigns turn heel. Just do something. Because I think Reigns, the babyface thing, it has almost worked. It nearly worked. It was so close, but it just hasn't happened yet. I just don't think it will happen at the moment. It's just gonna, the fans don't want to cheer him over Ambrose. They don't want to cheer him over. The only guy it's really going to work with is Sheamus or Triple H, because nobody wants to cheer those guys. Certainly Sheamus, nobody wants to cheer that guy. Well, I would assume, I get in trouble for saying nobody, but I would assume most people don't want to cheer for Sheamus. So, in my opinion, I think it has been bad booking. It has been the fans seeing that Reigns is going to be that top guy. I don't think really a news report getting leaked out was the issue of it. I think it was happening even before then. Big thanks to those two who sent in the voicemails. We had a lot more, but obviously, since they were a little bit outdated, we couldn't use them this week because we basically already answered it. So if you do have another voicemail, make sure you head over to the website, BrendenPlayz.com, and leave one there, and I'll get to it next week. Obviously, there'll be the fallout of Fast Lane, plenty to chat about next week. We have some questions coming in from the YouTube and the forums as well. This one comes from Louis MC. His question is, what do you like better, the WWE Championship joined with the World Championship or separate? I like the two titles in one. I just felt as though, even 2 years now on, I still think they made the right decision. I think it's a little bit over a year. They still made the right decision because two titles, there was one, the WWE title was always seen above the World Heavyweight Championship for a number of years. And they had the world title that was just a secondary belt. It was just the, upper mid-card title. It was basically the IC title now. You weren't really a world champion. You weren't the top guy. The top number one guy never held the world championship for a number of years. So, having one distinctive world champion in a non-brand split environment is the way to go. And I'm very, very pleased that they've stuck with their guns, kept to the one title. It makes sense. You elevate the IC and the US title. Those are your two secondary titles. Those are your two secondary belts that you would give to a World Heavyweight Championship competitor. And you keep the top guys, like your Lesnar's, like your Reigns, like your Ambroses, well now, like your Cena's, for that World Heavyweight Championship. And you give guys who are secondary the US and the IC title. This one comes from Cameron Chrisamore. Now that Daniel Bryan is retiring, in my universe mode, will Daniel Bryan also retire? It's a little bit of, case by case. Sometimes it's the case, sometimes it's not. Obviously, CM Punk, when he left, he ended up retiring in universe mode. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Look at Batista, hasn't been in for a while, but I still use him. I have no plans right now to retire Daniel Bryan. I still want to use him. I still enjoy using him. And I still think he has a place and a purpose, certainly on SmackDown. But if there comes a point where I feel like there's nothing left for Daniel Bryan to do, then I might call it a day. But for now, I'm certainly going to keep him around. Alrighty, this next one comes from Tom Huxley. This is a bit of a long one. On JBL Legends, they never mentioned the storyline that Bradshaw turned on Farouk when he got fired. Why didn't he feud with JBL? I know that they were best friends, but JBL should have asked, what do you think of that? I really wish they had one feud back when he was wrestling. I wish he came back and had that last feud. They never finished that storyline. So he's basically saying, why didn't JBL and Farouk ever have a feud? And I believe that's a strange one as well, because obviously most times when a tag team turns on one another, it generally always leads to a long-term feud, but they never did. I guess maybe Farouk was getting up there in age, and maybe they didn't see there was much value in having a singles match between the two. I'm not sure. I was not 100% tuned in at the time, but I think that's a missed opportunity. I don't know if it would have been a great feud, but still, they were such a great tag team. I thought maybe a few matches, maybe a couple pay-per-view matches there. You never know. Could have been a decent mid-card feud. Perhaps a little bit of a missed opportunity. I don't think most people probably won't really care at the end of the day, but you never know. Maybe just could have been something. This one comes from Decent Stuff. What does WWE do if fans react negatively again to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? You turn him heel. That's it. If Reigns gets a huge booing. Everyone's just booing him out of the arena at WrestleMania. No one's happy that he won the belt over Triple H. You turn him heel. Like I said, Ambrose comes out to celebrate. Attack Ambrose. Easy. Big heel turn. Done. Easy. Attacking Triple H would not work. You need someone the fans love to come out. Ambrose would obviously be the right guy. I mean, right now, I think they've persevered long enough with Reigns. If they keep him as a babyface, will it ever really work? I don't think so. I think you got to bite the bullet at some point and say, look, we tried our best. Let's turn him heel. Let's give him a big heel run. We'll push Ambrose as their top babyface instead. I think that's probably the way to go if Reigns does not get over to a massive point anytime soon. He almost got there, like I said, but he's just cooling off a little bit now. If he can recover, keep him as a babyface, but I think, honestly, if they do turn him heel, I think the fans will respond well to him because they'll know, look, he isn't a John Cena. They're still willing to turn him heel. He's not going to be a babyface champion for the next 10 years. I think the fans are so worried that he's just going to be this smiley babyface guy for such a long time that if they did turn him heel, if they ever did turn him back babyface, I think he would get a much better response and his career would be much better for it. But since the fact that he's been a babyface single star, since he did become a singles guy, I think the crowd just see where this is going and they get this feeling that it's going to be John Cena, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. If they end up kind of swerving, turn Reigns heel, then you never know. I think the crowd might just react better because they'll see that, okay, maybe he isn't John Cena, maybe he isn't this. He is a heel, let's give him a chance now as a heel, and if he ever does turn back babyface, I think they'll support him a lot more. Again, from Decent Stuff, he wants to know, is WrestleMania screwed? I don't think WrestleMania is screwed. I don't think WrestleMania is going to be as great as it possibly could have been. I think, obviously, you got guys like Sting, you got Randy Orton, you got John Cena, you got Cesaro, you got Daniel Bryan now gone. There's tons of guys who are out injured right now, and could it have been better? Yes, definitely. 100%. But is it screwed? No, I don't think so. I think there'll still be some decent matches, but I just feel as though it won't have such a huge hype to it. There's no real dream matches that are probably going to take place. And the thing is, right now, for me, we don't know what's going to take place. We haven't heard from Undertaker. We don't know who he's fighting. I guess we get the feeling that Lesnar and Wyatt are going to fight. So we know a couple of matches that we might speculate that will happen, but nothing's really set in stone. I think for right now, for WrestleMania, it's a little bit of a problem for me. I prefer things get announced in advance. And, that's why the Royal Rumble winner, you always know, alright, we know the main event of WrestleMania straight away, basically. We know one half of it, at least. So, I guess after Fast Lane, things will start unraveling and we'll find more things out for sure. But for me, I just would have liked more of an idea of where we're headed. At least, not in terms of who's going to win at WrestleMania, but in terms of what matches are we going to see at WrestleMania. Final question today comes from Red Hot Sniper Gaming. What do you think about Vince still doing the main roster and Triple H doing NXT? I feel like Triple H should move and take over both rosters. Well, it's so clearly evident that Triple H is not in control of the main roster. It is Vince McMahon all over the product. Look at Tyler Breeze. He comes in from NXT with some momentum, doing pretty well, upper mid-card guy to main event guy on NXT for a few years, comes in, and he is nothing. He's a joke. He is an absolute joke. Do you really think Triple H should spend all that time building Breeze up in NXT for him to come onto the main roster and be treated like he's, Heath Slater? I don't think so. So that was clearly a Vince McMahon call-up. Gave him a push for 2-3 weeks, said, alright, let's give this guy a shot. I don't really see much in him. Put him on Superstars. Just like that. Breeze done. So, look at guys like Neville. I suppose they did give Neville a bit of a chance, but I think he was kind of screwed from the get-go. So there's a lot of cases from people coming up from NXT. Look at the Ascension, changing their gimmick, changing what they were good at in NXT, changing it to something that probably Vince McMahon hadn't a vision for, and it sucked. So there's a lot of cases where Vince McMahon is just making these pretty shitty decisions. And that's not to mean Triple H isn't as well. I'm sure Triple H has had some duds as well. No doubt about that. But, I think, for the most part, I think Triple H is more in tune with what people want now. Vince McMahon is always going to be at the helm because he is Vince McMahon. He's not going anywhere until he's dead. And Triple H will always be, the second guy until Vince McMahon until his health is he's no longer capable of coming to the shows every week to work. And that probably won't be for a fair few years. It could be another decade until it even comes close to happening. We don't know. But Triple H has done some great things in NXT. He's signed a lot of great talents. He's mended a lot of fences with many legends. He's done a lot of great things for the WWE. I still think, I think Triple H is the right call. I think Triple H taking over from Vince McMahon, I think, is a great thing. I am happy that that's happening. I think Triple H has probably a much better team in place as well. It feels like Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon are just rehashing the same crap. It's just not working. Doing a lot of, you see at times, you see this a lot of 80 stereotypes creeping into play with WWE in 2016, like the New Day, having the clap around and be gospel singers and whatever, and all that kind of stuff. When they originally debuted, it's just stereotypes. They just do so many stereotypes and thoughts and opinions from, years and years ago. They're just not in tune with current day society. So I think Vince McMahon is just outdated himself. He's just old, he's outdated, and a move over, allowing Triple H control, I think will probably improve the product. Stephanie McMahon being in power, I don't think will really improve the product. But I think Triple H, he's a pretty good businessman. I think he will do some good things for the WWE once he gets his time. He's doing some pretty good things in NXT, which is a good tester for him, see how he goes. I think he's doing pretty well. Could he handle the entire main roster? I think he could. I think right now he definitely could. 2-3 years ago, no. But right now, I think Triple H is pretty much ready. I think he's ready to move up. But Vince McMahon, well, he's not going anywhere. Alright guys, that will do it for this week's edition of the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe for the YouTube channel. Also, check us out on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you need to go to find the podcast. And hope you guys have enjoyed this week's edition. I know the last few weeks were pretty shitty. Hopefully this one made up for it. We got some questions in. Make sure you do leave a question for next week's episode by leaving a comment in the YouTube comment section down below or over the forums at BrendenPlayz.com. Next week, if I have internet and I'm all good, I'm moved in, I'm okay, I will be posting a post on Facebook about questions. So if you want to leave a question, I will be doing something on Facebook next week, and you can leave a question on Facebook. That will be happening. Keep an eye out for that. It'll be happening on probably when Monday Night Raw is on. Once you finish watching Raw, drop a question over onto the Facebook page. BrendenPlayz Official is the Facebook page link. Go over there, check that out, and drop a question over there when you finish watching Raw next week. So, hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BrendenPlayz for all the updates. Check out the forums as well, BrendenPlayz.com. It is absolutely free to join up. We will be doing a Fast Lane discussion this week as well, talking about the pay-per-view whilst it's live and happening on our live chat room. I'll be doing a quick little video about that, reminding you to come along to the forums for that. That will be very, very exciting. It's always a lot of fun for that, so make sure you do not miss that and come around to the forums for that. Guys, thank you so much for listening in, and I'll see you all next Tuesday.